Hi everyone, it is Marie here from Skeins, and sorry I've been away, not videoing for a couple of weeks. Been a little bit under the weather with the lurgy, as you can see. Not exactly still looking in pristine condition, but at least I'm not coughing, spluttering, and I'm only sounding remotely hazy or slightly smoky, depending on how you want to have a look at it. But I am now back on deck and back at work. So I thought I would come and catch up with you because it is winter. Yeah, well, at least here in New Zealand it is. Who knew it? June already. It has just arrived in a flash, an absolute flash. But there's lots to catch up on since it's been a couple of weeks since I came to say hello. So I thought I would talk about some projects, what I've got on my needles at the moment, what's going on over on the speakeasy, tease you with a couple of things coming up, and also you may have noticed we've had a couple of really neat specials over Queen's birthday weekend and last weekend as well. So I thought I would kick things off with firstly NYX. If you haven't had a chance to check out the new NYX colours yet, they're utterly divine. At Wool Feast when I was there, I was right next door to Deb's. Not that we got to speak to each other very much because we were so busy, but I know loads of you check those colours out in person, and we have them all in store downstairs, and they're just utterly luscious and beautiful and wonderful. And NYX is a DK yarn, 30% Polworth, 30% silk, 70% Polworth, absolutely delicious, and it has got this beautiful, lovely, lustrous sheen, which is just wonderful for adding a little bit of spark and mystery to your knitting. So if you're wanting to do a project, I know some people are like, whoa, the price is quite out there. However, with a 100 gram ball, you can be amazed at what you can do. And I'm wearing my ivy trellis hat. Many of you will remember this from last winter. Knitted this pretty much this time last year. This is done in the Chatswood Somerset. But one ball of NYX will actually do this ivy trellis hat, no problem whatsoever. In fact, pretty much any slouchy or beret style hat will be able to be gotten out in a single ball of NYX. Also too, fingerless gloves, you can generally get 2 pairs of those out of a single ball, or even a cowl. And many of you, and I've got one just sitting back here. This is a shorter version, and again, this one has been done in Bohemia worsted, but this is the Ever After cowl, and in fact, I've done this one quite short, but you can actually do it longer. And this in NYX is fantastic too, and you can get that out of a single ball. If you're wanting to do the rib B cowl, and I know there's loads of you now doing the rib B cowl, because it's just such brilliant winter binge watching crash. There goes something crashing over in the office. Binge-worthy sort of knitting. That takes actually about 1.5 balls, but the good news with that is that you can actually get a pair of fingerless gloves and a rib B cowl out of 2 balls of NYX. Most importantly, every single purchase of NYX that we have, whether it be walk-in in store or online, goes into the drawer for this absolutely beautiful, there it is, necklace from Francis Stahl. So this is sterling silver. It is, that's better. And it is actually a representation of the moon, which is wonderful because the collection, the NYX collection, is called the Artemis collection, which of course Artemis was the, I think, Roman god, Greek god, Roman god of the moon. So it is all very appropriate, and that is from Deb. So all you need to do is purchase any of the new collection, or in the few colours that are staying in the collection, to go in the drawer. Single ball, that's all you need to do. We're drawing that on the 1st of July, so do make sure that you get in and enter that. So again, in store or online, that is rocking along. You also may have seen the 4-ply special that we had out with Loyal, which was just heaps of fun, really. We had some left over from the sale. We had we've been doing a bit of a zhuzh up and a tidy up, and we had some of that left, and we just have been clearing that out. So the Dolly Pink is gone, the turquoise is now gone, but we still have the canary, the tangerine, and the green, and I can't remember, spearmint, I think the green's called, as well as the print. I popped out on the newsletter the Summer Festival pattern, which is a brilliant pattern by Georgie Nicholson, and it's absolutely perfect in that yarn. So if you're looking for just a light layering seasonal piece, particularly coming out into the springtime, that pattern is brilliant. I've done the shorter version, crop version, called Summer Carnival. It's part of that same collection. 2 adult patterns plus 2 children's, or 2 young sort of tweeny girl patterns. And it's neat. It's a little 4 pattern collection, or you can buy them individually, and that's perfect with those yarns. And depending with the sizings that you're going for, you can actually knit an entire garment. If you're a smaller sizing for less than $20, or even larger sizing like me, you can knit a cardigan for under $30, which is just brilliant, brilliant, brilliant value. So there is some of that still available. You'll find that on the sale page. They're the first items there in the sale page, so they're nice and easy to see. Just below them on the sale page, you may have noticed the Polworth. I popped into the shop on Saturday to catch up with everybody and just give the girls a hand, and also to the Mahana, which I'll get onto in a wee moment, has just been selling like absolute gangbusters. So I needed to change the display around, and we actually did a bit of a dig around, and we've now down to the last little bits and bobs of our Polworth, which I know so many of you absolutely adored, and are heartbroken that it has been discontinued. I know, it breaks our heart to discontinue it, but again, it's a yarn, a fibre that we adore, but we're needing to move the raw material supply into other areas. So again, it's been a discontinuation to make sure we've got continuity of raw material supply in other places. Yeah, breaks my heart that it's going. So we've got the last of that yarn available for sale, both again in store downstairs and online. So there's 4 shades left. There's Vita Violet, Lake Grey, which is this beautiful soft silver grey, fabulous grey, car pink. There is a little bit of car pink. I thought I didn't find any so much on Saturday, but Claire has found some more for me this morning, so that's been loaded up and added on. Car pink and a little bit of Bodrum red. And when I say a little bit, like less than 2 bags, so 1 full garment essentially of Bodrum red left. And then there's a few other little rats and mice in the shop, but that's essentially it. Oh, Mexi Blue, that was the other one. So there's a bit of that as well. So if you are a lover of that, or I tell you what, if you've got a bit of silver lining in the stash, the Polworth is spun to exactly the same count as the silver lining. So it really means that you can get solid colours to go with the natural colours if you're wanting to do some colour work, or you're wanting to expand things out, or if you're doing loads of smaller projects and you like to mix and match your yarns. These two interconnect and mix and match beautifully because they're very, very similar in terms of micron count, and as I said, they're spun to exactly the same count as well, so they will play very happily in the sandpit together. And those the Polworth has now been priced until it completely clears, which is just, I know, heartbreaking, but you do need to make sure you snap some of that up before it is goneys for goodsies, which is so heartbreaking, but it's okay. We've got other new wonderful things coming out. In terms of what's on my needles at the minute, I have been knitting with Lodge. I haven't knitted anything, not in this new format. I knitted a hat in it, a sort of slouchy, as you know, I'm very partial to the slouchy hats. Knitted a wee hat in this when it first came out, and it was a DK, well, 12 ply back then. We've just downsized it to an Aran weight this time. And my son wanted a jumper, my youngest son, which is quite unusual because usually he's the one that doesn't want his mother to knit for him. It's the old one that likes to be knitted for, and the younger one actually is rather fond of his hooded sweatshirts, and he suggested to me that I could knit him a hooded sweatshirt, and I thought, yeah, great. So I bought him in, and I'm very much of the opinion if he picks it, then therefore he'll like it, he'll have to wear it. And he spent some time in store, and this is what he chose, this lovely blue, which is called Franz Joseph. So I went then on the hunt for a hooded jumper, and I came across this little beauty here. It's very practically called the neck down hooded pullover for men. is its full title. It's by Diane Suchet. I hope I pronounced that correctly, Diane. And as you can see, it is just a classic, absolutely classical looking hooded, it's knitted top down jumper. I was like, that's exactly what I'm after. The other thing that also stood out for me with this is that obviously it can be knitted in this Aran weight, but also too, it's knitted on a 5.5mm needle to a 16 centimetre gauge, a 16 stitch gauge, yes, 16 stitch gauge. Looking at that, exactly that, Bracken, Southlander bulky, enough said, really, isn't it? Absolutely perfect. Remember, I will put the links to all of these in the comments. This pattern is now just freshly available to purchase from Maree. It was actually available prior to that on Pattern Fish. And for those who have used Pattern Fish before will know that in less than a week it is unfortunately they're closing. So I've been in contact with her, and she's definitely now got all her patterns up on Ravelry for sale, which is brilliant. So so I've purchased that, and I have to say, so far so good. I've just did this yesterday, started this yesterday, and I'm really, really happy with it. And I'm really happy actually with how just the fleck is just that it's coming up beautifully. The yarn, honestly, this yarn, it's $5.95 raw, and it is such incredibly good value in terms of its squish, its feel. It really is fantastic. I have shown you this before, but I'm going to show you again. I just did this when the yarns came in. These are all the colours there, and I just found a block on the interweb and just did a quick colour work block to see what colour work would look like, because this sort of kind of lodge screamed to me that sort of Canadian, North American, Cowichan type Appalachian-y sort of rustic pattern, which I just absolutely loved, and so that hence the reason for that sort of snowflakey pattern, to see how it would look. And it is just a really fantastic yarn. And there is I also found another cow pattern it's just gone, but I will put it in the link when I find it, for a 3-coloured cow. But the colours are all very earth toned, and I know this camera unfortunately does it's missing one of the tones, which, so whenever I put these up they don't look quite right. But as you can see, everything's all really sort of very earthy, and we've done that quite deliberately to sort of give that snuggly feel, really. And I'm just, and the handle on this is just utterly beautiful, really, really, really good. So it's 100% wool, and that little net that's in there is viscose, and it's great, and I mean it just looks really good and has that really lovely squish. I also had a quick zip on the Ravelry for any other patterns that sort of, oh, here it is, cow. I did print the cow out. Any other sweaters that really sort of jumped out at me for Lodge, and the one that actually leapt out, and it's now available, it came out a few years ago, but it was in Amarisu magazine, so if you've got the magazine you probably already have it, but it's this one here, which is the Weekender sweater. It's by Andrea Malbury, and as you can see, that is just, again, just a wonderful, casual, comfortable leisure time type jumper, done in reverse stocking stitch that. So then, of course, if I show you the back side, my back side of my project, there you go. As you can see, the reverse stocking stitch on this looks absolutely fantastic. And I think that and that look amazing. Absolutely amazing. And this is sized up to 3XL. So again, I'll pop that in the link. But that is just a really great piece that would work beautifully with that yarn. And the third one I found, and I actually printed the whole thing out because I'm going to knit this. I need some what I call in front of the telly binge watching knitting. And this one's called In the Morning Cow. There it is there. There we go. It's free. It's free on the Rev. And it's just using 3 sort of colours. But I mean, that's the beautiful thing with this. I mean, you've got so many wonderful colours that, oopsie, that all speak together. I mean, you can, ooh, I'm going to have some fun with that actually. And that's nice and quick and easy. And you know, cows are great for this time of year. You can just throw them on, forget them, walk the dog. They're a really easy thing to wear, and also they're fantastic for gifts and just, yeah. At the end of the day, or audiobooks. I'm a big audiobook girl actually, quite enjoy them. So that's what I'm doing with the Lodge at the moment. So I'm having a little bit of a love affair with the Lodge, which is great. All of the colours are in stock, which is awesome. So do go and check that out. And as I said, at $5.95 a ball, I just think that this stuff is, we've priced it really low, good value right from the get-go, because we wanted to make it as available for you as we can. And again, 100% New Zealand wool content in that one. So I mentioned before about that being in stock and restocks being available. I've actually, the girls, and part of the reason I've been a bit quiet too, is that we have been madly restocking the web store. As you know, we've been a bit thin on the ground the last few months, but the last 2 to 3 weeks, it has literally, since the builders have exited the premises mostly, and we've got our balling machines back up and running, we've been finally able to get a lot of our restocks through. So Southlander is all in bar 2 shades, and that's across all the ranges. So I'm really happy about that. And the oatmeal is in and available, and I know for many of you wanting for colour work, whereas the cream was just too pure, you're wanting something a little bit more textured and rustic. Well, the oatmeal is now there, so we're really happy about that. So yeah, so Southlander all bar 2 shades is back. Yay! And the same is also with Urban Deluxe. There's only 2 shades missing in that now, and Perrindale, from what I can look at, everything bar a couple of shades is missing there too. So such a relief to finally have all of those back in stock. Orb is now the one that's currently filtering through and filtering in, so pretty much all the Orb Fine is back bar 1, and the Orb DKs are making their way through to us in store at the moment. And Albertine too, we had loads of Albertine go out. We've got everything except Midnight Sun, which is definitely on order and coming through. So it is such a tremendous relief, honestly, such tremendous relief to have all of those colours start coming back through. It's taken forever to get them, but it's been great. So good to have them. So if we haven't got something, hopefully it shouldn't be too far away. But as I said, it is just so nice to finally have all those stocks chugging through, which is fantastic. What else have I'm sitting here crossing off the list. Oh, Out and About. That's our new theme across at the Speakeasy. So if you're not a member of, if you're watching this and you're not a member of the Speakeasy, why aren't you a member of the Speakeasy? Because you obviously are on the Book of Face. Or you could actually, to be fair, are in our YouTube channel. But do join the Skein Speakeasy. Even if you only want to have one group that you're a member of, that's the one to join. And we have a really neat theme every month. Out and About, boy. I mean, I chose it because it was Worldwide Knit in Public Day on Saturday, and lots of you got out for that and had heaps of fun. But boy, we get around. Honestly, we're busier than, you know, we take our knitting all over the show. And I took a picture of mine at Yum Cha yesterday. There was knitting everywhere. I've had knitting on river canal boats and mountains and all sorts of things. And that's what it's about. I want to see where you take your knitting, whether it be at the movies, at your kids' school assembly, out at a cafe with your girlfriends or your boyfriends. I don't mind. In the car, a lot of knitting in the car whilst waiting for kids at sport or at school. Yeah, been there, done that. Love to see where you're knitting. Take a quick snap, load it up to the group and just share, because it's heaps of fun. And with that, we're giving away 2 fantastic private prizes, 2 full garment lots of yarn. And in terms of the garments, or I mean, if you've got a garment in mind, we'll even buy the pattern for you if it's a Ravelry available one. And we're going to be going 2 yarns. Both of these yarns that are coming through. In fact, they've all been dyed. They're sitting in various places in the mill at the moment waiting for finishing. So chances are you will be the very first people to actually get your little sticky paws on this if you win it. One of them is going to be called Uffy. And I've just got a little sample ball of the natural here. And this, this is where the Mahana bit comes in. This is Mahana's twin, or funky little sister. Uffy is the same fibre contact as Mahana, so you can imagine how delightfully squishy this is, with a wrap, to give you this really beautiful, subtly textured yarn. Which, and I think I showed this the other day. Now this has been steamed and blocked. This one hadn't been steamed and blocked, so it's a little bit funky dunky, but it makes this really, really beautiful textured fabric. And we've done this, and this is coming out in exactly the same colours as Mahana. And we're doing that quite specifically, so it means that you can create patterns using both of these together. So you can actually add texture using the Uffy, or you can do loads of different sort of things. There's some really interesting patterns out there where you can actually have a fiddle around with texture. So we're going to be doing that with Uffy. It's coming out hopefully in the next 2 to 3 weeks. It is definitely not far away. And I've seen them on the hanks, and it really does look fantastic. We've picked a brilliant shawl pattern out to showcase this off. So we're going to hopefully, by the time it's all there, we'll be able to show you that as well. And also too, hopefully by the time the Uffy comes in, we'll be able to get some Mahana colours back in stock, because you've loved that so much, you've nearly cleaned the whole thing out, which is a good thing. But we have got plenty of base stock, so we are going to get some more dyed off for you. So that is Uffy. And the second yarn is called Legacy. And Legacy is it actually is the yarn that we're replacing our Heritage Organic Merino with. Again, part of the reason why that yarn was discontinued was inconsistency of raw material supply. Legacy is a yarn that is going to be made up of either certified organic fibre, if we can get hold of it, or at least fibre which has provenance, so we know where it's come from. So single source, single origin, low impact, sustainable, but definitely we definitely know where the fibre has been sourced from. We've either sourced it directly ourselves, or we've done it via just one other third party, so we can, you know, we've got some good traceability on it. And the first one that's coming through is a mixture of Eden Valley Merino, organic merino, which is from Western Australia, from this incredible biodynamic organic farm in Western Australia, and some Mā-Takanui Polworth, which is here in New Zealand. And we've gone and it's the twist on this one that I'm really excited about. It's the first time that we've done just on our normal rings from worsted yarn. We've actually increased the level of twist on it a little bit more, and it gives you a really beautiful cylindrical yarn. And we've done that for 2 reasons. One is it gives you this beautiful yarn that we knitted, gives you this really lovely smooth fabric. And secondly, the downside of these really beautiful fine micron yarns is that if they don't have a good amount of twist in them to hold them together, they can have a little tendency to escape, and that will actually just help hold it into place and help with its wearability. The colours in that, I've seen them come through in the dye house, and I'm so thrilled with them. They've got some really lovely, lush, intense, just some really nice rich colours. Definitely more sort of more of a natural palette, but they really, can't wait to see all of the yarns together completed, because I just think they're going to look absolutely amazing. So that is a garment lot of that yarn is going to be one of the prizes. Now that yarn is, again, we're doing that actually in a full price sort of sport weight. Again, there's loads of really, really amazing patterns coming out in that weight now, and we're just finding that that is a weight that people are really enjoying to knit, because they can do good colour work, they get you know, you've got good length, but it gives you a fabric that's not too heavy, not too dense, and brilliant for layering pieces in between different times of the year. So I really can't wait for that to come out. So do watch out for those, and I might give you some more teasers for them as they creep through from balling. So there's lots and lots and lots of stuff still to come this winter, which is really exciting. Last but not least, Knit August Nights. If you've not booked for Knit August Nights but you think you would like to come, I'm getting very, very close to actually having to close off registrations. I have almost breached my capacity number. So if you're have you been fence sitting, you need to unsit the fence, because you might fall off the fence is the way we're going. I am literally now down to the last couple of places. So if you're wanting to head along to that, you do need to get your skates on and make sure that you sign up for that. But there are a number of classes that are available without having to register for Knit August Nights. We've got 2 beginners intro crochet classes here, little quick shop classes here on Saturday morning, which you can just come in store and book, or book online, and they are both Saturday morning. And then we also have a class at another crochet class actually, called Flower Power Crochet, doing crocheted flowers and just for embellishment over at East Pier on Sunday morning. And Sunday morning, of course, is open to the public. Anybody can attend and turn up and check out the incredible market that will be on that day. So do check all of those out. And again, I will pop the link for the registrations within the comments. But that's me. I've talked far too much today. I'll come back and catch up with you next week, and hopefully I might see if I can dig out some samples, or at least some little colour fringes to show you of those new yarns of what's coming up. But in the meantime, have a great week stitching this week. Keep those out and about posts coming up. I just love seeing them, and I will keep posting up my progress with my top-down jumper. And I might even get that cow cast on as well. So until then, have a great week, and I will talk to you again soon.